Secretary of State Antony Blinken says U.S. officials are now working through a formal process to determine whether an American journalist's detention by Russia is wrongful. This process would elevate the priority of Evan Gershkovich's case in the U.S. government. Blinken says he has, quote, no doubt that the Wall Street Journal reporter has been wrongfully detained. Joining us now to speak more about this is Jason Rezaian. He's a global opinions writer for The Washington Post. He was also unjustly imprisoned for 544 days after Iranian authorities arrested him in 2014. He was released in January of 2016. Jason, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start with asking you to help us understand why reporters like yourself often become targets when working in places that are considered to be authoritarian countries.
Well, I think we have two different types of cases of journalists being targeted by authoritarian states. One is domestic journalists in a country like Russia, like Iran, like China, that are targeted basically for their critical reporting on the people in power. Whenever we hear the term fake news, it's usually just a way to say that thick-skinned authoritarians don't like the reporting that's being done about them, the truths that are being uncovered. So it's a very easy thing to do to put people like that in prison in countries that are authoritarian, where the rule of law does not prevail. But the second group, people like Evan and myself, foreign nationals that are targeted by authoritarian governments, oftentimes we're arrested as leverage against our home countries, whether it's the U.S., the U.K., European allies. So in Evan's case and in my case, it's both of those things. It is arresting somebody because of the work as a journalist that they do, but also because of the citizenship that they hold and concessions that the government that's arresting them thinks they might be able to extract from the home government. And it's a really treacherous development in international relations, and it's getting worse.
Jason, you also wrote an opinion piece for The Washington Post accusing other reporters of, quote, perpetrating journalistic malpractice in their reports of Gershkovich's detainment. Explain your position and how do you believe journalists, all of us who work in this profession, can do better?
Thanks so much for the question, Vlad. It's so important. I've been following these kinds of cases since my own release. And one of the things that has really bothered me all these years is every time I hear one of these stories of U.S. citizen arrested in X country charged with espionage. Well, that's not really the story. The story is U.S. citizen arrested in Iran, in China, in Russia, fill in the blank, and is being held hostage. That's what's going on here. And I understand that newsrooms have to lead with the facts that we know. Headlines have to present the most pertinent information. But the fact that Evan Gershkovich is being allegedly charged with espionage, by repeating that over and over again and not providing the context very near the top of our stories, like you guys just did in your introduction, that Secretary of State Blinken has no doubt that Evan is wrongfully detained. We're seeing a shift. That kind of context is now permeating these stories. It's really good to see, but it's horrible. Every time I sit in a taxi and the radio is on talk radio, or even on NPR, the headline will be American journalist detained on espionage charges. And that's just not the story. The story is this is an American citizen who is being held because of their citizenship.
Yeah, context is so important here. Based on your experience, Jason, how do you see this case unfolding?
Unfortunately, I tell people whenever a journalist is arrested, an American citizen is arrested by one of these states, and that the arresting state is the one who kind of televises or publicizes the arrest and starts to level these unfounded charges in the public fora, that the family, that the employer, that the person who's being held needs to steel themselves for a long ordeal. I would love nothing more to be wrong about this, but I imagine that Evan's probably going to sit in prison for weeks, if not months, before he's able to be released. It's a horrible fate to have the entire power structure of another country being mobilized to abuse you. The judiciary, the foreign ministry, the parliament, and then also the state media apparatuses, really just putting an onslaught on a single individual simply because they're a U.S. citizen. It's something that we see more and more of. It's not a new phenomenon, but as I said earlier, it's getting worse. And I really hope that the Biden administrations and others who are dealing with this problem in other countries are thinking about long-term ways to deter this kind of hostage-taking in the near future.
You know, you've written extensively about your own ordeal, but just listening to you describe what might be in store for Evan over the next couple of weeks, I think for a lot of people, it must be unimaginable. So just remind our viewers, I mean, when you were detained unlawfully, did they mistreat you? What was it like? Just give us a sense of what your day was like and what it might be like for Evan.
Well, I think you have to understand that this simple fact of his arrest is a mistreatment. He is being held in isolation, unable to communicate with the outside world, unable to communicate with his family, no way to defend himself against charges in the public arena that are being leveled against him inside of Russia, and quite possibly being held in solitary confinement. I was held in solitary confinement for 7 weeks in a cell that was about 4.5 by 8.5 feet, with the lights, fluorescent lights on 24 hours a day. Was unable to see my wife, who was also being held in the same prison, had no understanding or knowledge of her whereabouts or her condition. So it really is an exercise in trying to break a person in the earliest days and hours. And, for that reason, I think it's really important that those of us who are here in freedom continue to raise his plight, raise his name, and demand that all the powers that be intervene on his behalf to shorten his ordeal as much as possible.
Jason, thank you very much for your reporting. Thank you very much for your perspective on this. We're all hoping that Evan gets home sooner rather than later. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for covering it. It's so important.